Director Alexander,
Here.
Director Gill,
Yes.
and Director Chapman is not present.
Okay, thank you. Public comments. At this time, any member of the public will have an opportunity to address the board on any item not on the agenda. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Okay. Approval of minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 9th, 2023.
Okay, so then I'll do second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Director Alexander,
Yes.
Director Gill,
Yes.
is passed.
Okay. Motion passed. Or are there any I guess the motion passed. Let's see. Committee business. The next item is the committee business, a discussion regarding next governance principles set, which is board training, and that's Carol.
Hello, directors. Thank you. I'm Caroline Hernandez, clerk of the board, and today we're going to be bringing back another item that we've touched upon in our previous ABC meeting and in the board meeting. So the discussion regarding board training and development within our board governance principles. So today, the recommendation for our EBC is to engage in a conversation to consider what types of training cadence, and/or training involvement by directors would be most effective to include in the governance principles document. And once staff gathers your feedback today, we will synthesize that feedback into a document and return with a specific proposal that the committee would review that would go into the governance principles document.
Question.
Yes.
Show the slide, just the direct slide, or?
Yeah, it's just a PowerPoint. But we are streaming it via Zoom.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, correct.
Sharing this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We can give you a second to get settled in, Director. Welcome. So we will be reviewing the next principle set that's going into our governance principles document, specifically board training. And so today, I would like to get the committee's thoughts and feedback about essentially what they would like to go into the document. And then staff will use that feedback to create a draft and bring it back to the ABC for review. So in our November 9th ABC meeting, we discussed the principles that were already drafted by previous iterations of the ABC, and we got your feedback on those items, which were transparency. Transparency and core values were pre-approved by the board several years ago. So a previous iteration of the ABC had developed those two items that the board had then approved. So we had already had a framework to begin with. So those were done. And then in November 9th of 2023, staff brought to you 2 more items, which were ethics and accountability and committees. There it goes. For your review. And we had we had drafts to work off of that our previous ABC had drafted up. This time around, we don't have any drafts to work from. So this is an opportunity for this ABC to really leave your mark, to really come up with something for this principle set that will reflect our current values and thought processes. And then the final one that we can work on at a later time would be equity and inclusivity. And so because we don't have a starting point, part of this conversation would just be to get your thoughts and feedback just in the context of what we have drafted in the board governance principles and the idea that we want this document to kind of reflect higher level of a higher standard for the board. So using all those pieces, we wanted to get your feedback and your thoughts about how you would like this document crafted. And so I just wanted to start with a simple question is, why is board training and development important to this committee and to this board beyond what is mandated by the state?
A nice light question. I'll go ahead and dig in and then we can share. I'm thinking just in relationship to, most of us have experience with county government or city government, you know, local policies, right?
Mhm.
So this is, you know, special districts is a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think understanding how special districts fit into the realm of good governance and between the relationship with the county and the city and the state and the different entities that have to, so part, you know, because there's a Blackville relationship, there's all that. So I think understanding the role where the special districts fit in is important. And then also relaying that to the board members as well. So you come in with the expectation of where you fit in. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And another part of where we fit in is all the different agencies that work together. And you all have been very good at board meetings about bringing in different partners to talk, but I think that's an important part of the training to continue doing that. You know, how do we interact with Post, with Midpen, with Save Mount Diablo, with Santa Cruz Trails Network? And
Right. How do we work with our regional partners?
Yeah.
Okay.
Midpen has any draft?
So no, this type of document in and of itself is unusual for a special district. Most public agencies will have a code of conduct or a handbook that kind of outlines the legal requirements that elected officials should undertake. This one, so there's not a lot of precedent that we have to work from. Which is why, you know, I wanted to provide you with some prompts to help kind of generate this, you know, thought process. We're really doing kind of a standout document in memorializing this.
So my understanding, if staff would just create any kind of documentation, so like the draft one, and then bring it to the ABC, or send it the email to us, then we can look at that and then definitely we can make some kind of edit those or add or delete or those kind of things is much easier. Instead of we are giving some kind of, oh, do this one and then do this one.
Sure, sure.
Then I think that's a little bit harder. Might be I have the different view and then staff has the different view. Then if we have any kind of a format or draft or something or template, then we can just fill those kind of questions. You can just have the question, then we can fill out those questions
Sure.
according to our knowledge and experience and look at the other agencies, what they what is their document is just telling us. I
Sure.
think that's my understanding, but I don't know, might be, I don't know.
Okay,
So-
well, let me pose this question to you. You know, you've been on the board for a long time now, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the date that you
2007,
2007.
April.
okay, so where as a new elected official, was there anything that you felt would have helped
Training documentation, that's what I'm saying, so we have to create the training documentation. This is your question, right? So then we have to be just to look at that, what kind of training we have to give it to the new board members.
Mhm, mhm.
That is very important. Yeah,
So I put together a couple of areas of interest. So you know, are do you think that these are the types of topics that would be important? Is there more what
see, you are hiding those things. That's why I'm asking for you just.
Jump in. here?
Yes, yes.
There was a document that I think when Vicki and I both came on board, we had a little bit of a training ourselves that you sat down with us and went through that.
Mm-hmm.
There was kind of a template, I think, that general manager went over with that. Would that be helpful as a starting point?
So orientation, yeah, our
Orientation, and then it was like a further expectation, kind of like is, chair and vice chair, kind of where you want to go with that.
So the other next very important question, who is giving the training?
well, see, so that's the kind of things that we would want to flesh out. So there's training that you would get from the authorities. So our processes, how we operate, and then there's training through California Special Districts Association. You know, if that's our governance foundations trainings, the leadership
No,
academy.
I'm asking the orientation. And
For
the board
orientation,
members, there's a special districts, we have to be hire, or just invite them to give the training, or from inside, our staff, we can do that.
Yes, it would be, depending on what the topic was, you would be our general manager or assistant general manager, myself. The trainings that I would give would be more about, you know, Brown Act trainings or, you know, more tactical things.
That will be, might be the bill, our legal, that is
Right.
that is the right person to
Mhm.
give that Brown Act training.
Right,
My-
right. Okay, so, maybe touch upon who's responsible for the legal trainings. And then differentiating those from, you know, the things that we do outside of that.
I think the first one is a special district, right?
Yes, that's a special district specific accreditation. Governance would be, you know, like Brown Act training, you know, or public records trainings, like those sorts of things that relate to, you know, transparency and your role as a public official. Community engagement.
That is your, maybe, Mr. Assistant
Land grant,
General Manager.
yes. You know, if you attend a legislative conference with our assistant general manager, you know, talking points, you know, training on how to
Yeah.
network.
Yeah, we're training on the context and background for some of those legislative matters that we work with. Yeah.
I'm asking the other person.
Because you have me, you have me going back and remembering, and it's like, that's, I mean, from 4 years now, all of a sudden, it's like, whoo, time flies. Trying to remember, there was a new board training, then we had to sit down with general manager. And then, I jumped on the LAFCO, and then LAFCO did a training, right? So there was an overview of that, which I thought was very helpful, again, how that, so that's kind of where I was going into the fitting in things, and then special districts, there was a little bit of training with that. So I mean, when I first got on the board, I had a lot of training, which was helpful. And part of it coming from, local government, I knew some of the things already.
Sure.
Because I had been a park commissioner, so I had the Brown Act training and the Roberts rules and that's that kind of stuff. So there's some of that that's already kind of canned and out there that, can be given. Which I think you guys did when we had orientation as well. I think you touched on that. I just remember, there was the overview of running meetings, and there was the overview of what the authority did and going into deeper detail.
Honestly, when I started that, there is no training since today. No training, just learn from the other board.
Threw you in there. You
Yeah.
got thrown in.
Yeah, just getting as I'm going through
Sure.
almost how many years, 18 years,
Yeah.
learning from each other. There is no training, such kind of training, then we get that. So I don't know, so you guys get any training? Okay, so you guys are lucky then. So, and I think invite me whenever have any other training, then I will be good also.
Right. Okay, here's another thought. Would you want to be involved also in training other board members or?
I think maybe the chair, whoever is the chair. So it's not like, because next year will be another chair, right? So,
Okay, so again, my experience when I got on the board, I had Director Potter that kind of, helped me with a few questions. So I think there is some peer-to-peer training that could occur,
Yeah.
like what to expect.
But for a lot of things, I think it helps to have like the subject matter expert, do the training. I can talk about the Brown Act, but it would probably be better to have someone else, thoroughly explain about the Brown Act.
Sure.
Or about LAFCO or about.
Okay.
what is the meaning of conversation?
Conservation.
Oh, conservation.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying, what is that? Yeah,
That's why we asked.
yeah, that's, yeah.
If I may, I had
Please.
a question too. So, one of the things that, the report, the board report mentioned was in reference to the board retreat last year and the board's expression of, interest in further community engagement, more than, has been occurring perhaps. What kinds of training might be specific to, preparing board members for additional community engagement, whether it's, speaking at a ribbon cutting or engaging with a neighborhood group or a CBO, community-based organization event.
Actually, if you remember that, then every board meeting, I'm just asking and requesting at the end of the month,
Yes.
just has the talking point. Send the email to the board members wherever they go. They know that they have to be updated. Especially, I'm going to our neighborhood associations. Every month, 1 or 2 neighborhood association, and then they put my name there to update the open space authority. Even though I don't want to be go, but I have to be go because they put my name there on the agenda. So then I need something. I can get from the website. It's not a problem, but it's much easier. You guys are expert on those kind of things, right? So if somebody asks me the technical question, I can just write down the report right away because that's my you can say the mastery on this kind of things.
Mhm.
But whatever is on the open space authority, the talking point is much easier for us if you send the email.
Mhm.
So then we can look at that and memorize. I can memorize very easy.
Mhm.
So then, no, I don't need to be just have the paper to be read that, but I can just memorize and then talk.
Sure.
It's much easier. And then I can find the question if they ask me from that talking point to give them answers as well.
Okay.
That is a very important for the community engagement.
Does the League of Women Voters provide any leadership training? I'm stumped too. I've been through some training courses over my career. Right. So, which is part of where I learned some of this stuff from. But I'm getting to the point that I think where we don't, there was a lot more of that type of training in the community done. And I think that some of that has been pulled away in terms of because this capacity, right, to provide that training. I'm gonna go back to the old days, but everybody remember the Strong Neighborhood Initiative? That's where I got my training from, because there was staff that was assigned to work with community organization, neighborhood associations. So they taught you how to look at plans, how to provide feedback, how to go to a council meeting, how to interact with elected officials. And you learn kind of that aspects of public speaking and,
That's very important actually.
it's very, very important.
Public speaking is important. It is more impressive if you can have how to speak and how to deliver the message to the community.
Mhm.
So not only it's benefit to myself, but it's benefit for the agencies also. So they understand what we want to say and what we want to deliver our message to them.
Okay.
So like first part, so when you start that one, that actually the speaking, and then what is the middle part, and then at the end of how you can just wrap up your speaking or whatever the topic you are just try to convey to them. So in that way, it's much easier if that kind of training we can get from somebody
Mhm.
or have some kind of classes. I don't know how we can do that.
And as a part of that, just like, the board bites give you something to say, but it just bites about what to say about the OSA. I mean, it's easy, it takes a little time. You can go draw it from the website, but if there's more of these are important things to say when you're talking to someone who may not know a lot about the OSA, it would be nice to have what's important.
Mhm. Like our niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, going back to where we fit into the overall structure and what our strengths are.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so what I'm hearing is, we want to focus in on orientation and a baseline for new board members, and then how more regionally and how this special district fits in into fits in against other local agencies and other partners. And then how to be an advocate. So training for how to talk about the OSA and how to communicate our mission and what we do.
In other words, how to be a lobbyist.
How to be a lobbyist.
In theory, that's what you're doing, right? You're advocating for your agency, you're lobbying other people to get on board and share your talking points.
Okay.
And to that point, if I can make a comment here too, about the lobbying, I think especially in a year, if the agency does move forward with a ballot measure, which it's considering, It would also be really helpful, I'll bet, to know what not to say.
Mhm.
Yes, it'll have that line of, you know, where. Yeah. Or you're the employee and you can't electioneer as an employee.
I don't know why when you saying the lobbyist, then most of the community member don't like this lobbyist things. I don't know, maybe something is wrong is that.
Sarcastic comment. But you know, you are advocate, you know, you were. advocate. It's a bit, yes. You know, you were there to get the elected officials' attention. You were there to direct funds to come to your organization, you know, that.
We have a mission.
Yeah, you do. You have a mission, you have a goal and a focus to, you know, to concentrate on the needs of this organization, which is kind of what, you know. It's lobbying. We just do it in a positive way.
Very good thoughts.
Advocacy, right, so, you know, how to be a good advocate, right?
Mhm.
And I think, you know, Mark, you're very good at it. It's like, you know, you say, Mark, okay, I'm going to such and such meeting, you know, give me some highlights of things I should, and he's, you know, here you go. All right, there we go. And you can pull out, you can draw out the, you know, specific highlights of things that need to be shared, right? What we need to get across to elected officials, what do they need to know, what do we need to plant in their ears?
Mhm.
I think that the second, third, fourth, and fifth, we can do internally, and I'm sure we have the people who have
The expertise. Mhm.
knowledge and experience on those kind of work. The
Sure.
first one might be only the specialist.
Mhm. Right.
Um,
Oh, yeah. So, right, next up. So I will take these thoughts and ideas and put something together that our next ABC meeting will be in May.
She just like that after she heard it.
Right, so I can bring something back to you that you can look at, and then we can work on it a little bit more from there. And in the meantime, if anything pops into your head, please feel free to email me and we can chat further about it. If you're inspired by something else.
I think is that enough, you got the enough information today, right?
I think so, just
So
start.
far, just to start up.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have the draft, we can just go more deeper on that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so if there's no other comments, my colleagues, then we will formally adjourn the meeting.
There is some Thai food in the conference room. If you would like to go ahead and eat a little nibble before the 6:30 start.